Welcome, welcome, welcome. Carter here. Got another video for you. We're going to be looking at the Guardian Tactical Recon 040 OTF. This is not an unboxing, but we're going to kind of treat it like it. We're going to slowly open up this box. No, we're going to quickly get into this box. Yeah, not quite an unboxing, but still very early impressions of this particular knife. So I went back and forth on this. Actually, let's get into it first. 100% made in the US, 100% US material. So that's a big deal right now. A lot of people are bending the rules of made in the US. There's some legalities around that where if you assemble it to a certain degree, it's still considered made in the US. I think those laws have gotten better recently, but that's the big fear. So they make sure and let you know, not only is it made in the US, it's assembled with US materials. Ooh, I didn't even see this here. So we got a nice little card telling you about the lifetime limited warranty, blah, 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 free of charge for sharpening. We will sharpen your knife whenever needed, free of charge. That's pretty cool. I mean, free of charge, but you got to pay shipping, but still, it's pretty cool. Won't need that on here because this is very capable of being sharpened by yourself. So what do we have here? Recon 40. This is the largest Recon model. It's one of two OTF models that I think Guardian Tactical make. And it's getting a lot of hype over the last few years. A lot of people really like these, particularly the smaller model, the 035, which is the one I should have bought. Ooh. I just have a thing for big knives, guys. I can't get over it. I can't get over it. This thing is a behemoth, and it makes 0 sense to try to carry this. Well, not 0 cents, but it's difficult to carry this. I mean, look how big this OTF is. And, you know, the only benefit with OTFs is the handles are relatively slim. You know, if you compare them to like even this 8020S here, you can see how much wider the 8020S is. You know, not necessarily longer. It's not longer, but wider. And when I'm talking pocket space, that's actually what's more important to me is the width, because that way I can put other stuff, like if you imagine this is in the pocket, I can put other stuff over here. The other problem, and this is just me complaining, I guess, about myself, is when I used to drive hoopty cars, all it was an ignition key and then some other keys. But now that I've got a nicer truck, I have one of those giant key fobs, and it's so annoying. I don't think it needs to be that big. It doesn't need to be that big. I'm trying to look for something for a comparable size, but you know what I'm talking about. It's like this big, like it's this giant key fob, and it takes up all my pocket space, and it's really annoying. So that's kind of making larger knives more difficult to carry. But wow, that was really off topic there. But this is getting a lot of attention. A lot of people really like it. They compare it to Mictotechs. I'll probably do a video comparing it to a Mictotech. I'm a big Microtech fanboy. What's up? Represent Marfion. But I love challengers. I love people challenging. I love underdogs, all that kind of stuff. And I will say the action on this thing is supreme. Supremo burrito. It is so good, so smooth, so much fun. I don't know how they do it. There's something about this, and I might have to open it up and take a look at the mechanism. I'm not sure how, because it's easy to deploy and it's smooth. They do the steel plate in there with the ball bearings. I assume that's what this patent penny. Ooh, this one says patent number. Wow, that's cool. That's a change. Some of the other videos I've seen, it was patent pending. And I guess they got their official patent on, I assume, this mechanism here. So that's nice. You know, you can definitely feel it's smoother. But that's not where the magic is. The magic is going on in here, because this is really easy to deploy compared to like a Microtech, but it feels like it hits harder. Like it feels like there's more authority of it coming out, and it could be maybe just the heavier blade. It's pretty thick stock, but I don't know. So it has a weird combination where it's easy to deploy, but it has a lot of power behind it. And for anybody that knows OTFs, like all of your spring power, like right now, there's no spring tension, or there's very little. Your spring tension is when you start to move this back. This stretches the spring, then you hit a trap door, and it allows the blade to come forward. So that's why these are so safe, because it's not just ready to go off. Like if you bump it, there's nothing to go off. There's no tension. You create the tension with the button. And so generally, when an OTF fires hard, it's because it has a heavy spring in it. And because of that, it's more difficult to push, right? It kind of goes together. You can't have one without the other. But somehow, Guardian Tactical at least seems to have done something where it fires really, really hard, but it's not hard to deploy and retract. I'm not sure how they did that. Might be an optical illusion, like I said. Might just be because of the mass of the blade. Makes it seem like it's hitting harder or faster. Maybe it doesn't actually do that. Who knows? But speaking of blade, Elmax, great steel. I love this profile. It's almost like a dagger just in terms of shape. Obviously, it's only sharp on one side, but it has this faux swedge on the top here, or swedge on the top here that's not sharpened. But really love the profile of this blade. Looks really cool. Has the channel, the pocket milled out here, which is very reminiscent of the Bowie grind on Microtechs. You know, if that bothers you, then it does, I guess. Stonewashing is beautifully done. Here's one thing I want to point out. I'm a sucker for beautiful blades. So we're going to go off topic here. So this is the Demco. One thing I don't like, look at that grind line up here. See how kind of soft and muddy it is? Like it's not sharp. And it's fine. It performs great. You know, whatever. It's a utility knife, blah, blah, blah. Knives are tools. They're meant to be used. But just see how it's kind of muddy. It's rounded and just not crisp and clean. Whereas this, see how sharp that line is? Both of these stonewashed. Much crisper line. Now, why that is, I don't know exactly. I don't know if this tumbled too long and it ruined that line, or if that line just never was really there. Maybe it has to do with blade thickness. You just can't, you know, it's not as sharp of an angle, so you can't get it. I don't know. But I love it when I see crisp lines, crisp grinds on blades. It just makes me giddy and warm inside. You can see some machining marks on the blade through the stonewashing. You know, it's a machine ground blade. You can see some horizontal lines kind of in here, whatever. This isn't a high-end custom OTF. You know, this is a user tactical kind of built knife. It doesn't have a lot of flash to it. Obviously, fairly reasonably priced as far as OTFs go compared to like a Microtech. You're going to get a better value here. You also get less flare. You know, there's not as much going on. And we'll do that in the comparison video when we go over it. Man, it is a pleasure to shoot. Now, I avoided buying this for a while because, and I don't want to offend anybody, but I really struggle with this brand name. I'm done with tactical. I say that word. I probably should stop saying that word. I think I just said that word. It's a word that's good to use in its application. I'm just sick of companies, everything being called tactical, Guardian Tactical. It's just, it's a little obnoxious, and I didn't like it when tactical stuff was super popular, but I especially don't like it now. Obviously, it's their name. They can't really change that at this point, but it bugs me. This one I like because it's somewhat subdued. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I know I'm going to get some people out there that are going to say it doesn't matter what the name's called. It's just a matter of if you can stab your enemy in the heart with the knife. That's all that matters. But that name, I don't like the name. I don't like the font. It's like a tribal tattoo font. I just don't like it. Because this is a fairly classy design. It's well done, especially in this finish. Elegant blade shape, purpose built, very good, utilitarian, nice stonewashing. It's a good looking large blade, but I just hate the word tactical, especially on brand names, you know, like it bugs me. So, you know, at the very least, whatever, that's their name, but just put GT in like a more reasonable font. I don't know, but that's up to them. You know, that's their marketing. That's their position. Some people are into that stuff. I just struggle with it. And it just bugs me. So anyways, end of rant. Rant is done. But aside from that, pocket clip is great. Works really well. It's got perfect tension on it. Easy to get out, in and out. Great shape. It's reversible. I mean, you just can't complain. One thing that I would have liked, like let's get nitpick zone here. When you have a knife like this, in my opinion, I would have preferred the show side to not have the screws. Now I know that somewhat has to do with the construction because the show side is the more shallow side, but I'm sure they could have figured out how to put the screws on this side and just had longer ones that bolt into the back of this. So you would have a clean show side. Look how clean that is, minus the pocket clip. Look how beautiful and clean that is. Relatively simple change. That would have been cool, especially if you're going to go shiny screws. No, nothing else is shiny on this knife. Everything is stonewashed, aluminum, black, except for these shiny ass screws. So if you're going to put them on the show side, stonewash them or do them black or something, because they kind of stick out like a sore thumb. And I know I'm getting into like visuals, like I said, once again, knives or tools are meant to be used. You shouldn't care what it looks like. Well, everything is designed. I'm going to do a video on that too. That bugs me. It really bugs me, that mentality of knives or tools. And it's not that people have that opinion. I get the opinion, and that's fine. It's that they're so vocal, they're offended when somebody appreciates a knife for something other than utility. They get angry, and they got to point it out, and they've got to tell you how stupid you are because it's just a tool and you shouldn't care. And that's where it bugs me. That's where my panties get ruffled and in a bunch. When people go out of their way to point that out. I know it's blasphemy putting this on a Marfione custom knives mat, but I just really like it. And I want a mat, so that's the one I got. So it's probably going to be on a lot of videos. I don't know. It might be weird reviewing knives on a Marfione custom knives mat. I didn't really think about it. I didn't think that far ahead, guys. I got the mat. I wanted a mat. Love Marfione custom knives. I love this logo. I'm like, cool, I'll just get that one. And I didn't really think about the fact that I would have Spyderco's, Demco's, competitors. This is a competitor on the same mat. Look how big that is. It looks cool. I'm actually glad I got the big size. It's just wicked. I mean, something about it. I don't know. Just really cool. All right, guys, I've rambled on long enough. That is a look at the Guardian Tactical Recon 040. The action is superb. Believe the hype that you've heard. The action is really, really good. Button still wiggles, though, in case you were wondering. So the ball bearing thing didn't do anything with that. It wiggles as much as any others. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but in case you were wondering, I wondered that if the ball bearing mechanism made this more stable, and it doesn't seem to. I mean, I would have to do a direct comparison, but it definitely, you can still hear it, and that's the button. It's not the blade. It does have blade play. I would say a slight bit more than Microtech's, but not as much as Infidel. So just first thoughts. I could be wrong. I'd have to do a side-by-side, but first thoughts there. So Recon 040. You thought you were done. I thought I was done. We're not done. We're still talking, baby. Looks really handsome. The black and the stonewash. I like that stonewash. The dark. Because really, this is beyond stonewash, right? This is more of an acid wash. So let's get that clear. This is a stonewash. This is just pure steel stonewashed. This has some sort of acid washing done on it and then stonewash. So you get that kind of darker tone. It's not extreme, right? It's not an extreme acid wash, but it's definitely got that darker type tone to it. So, all right, guys, I'm out for real this time. Catch you later. Thanks for the likes, subscribes, and all that stuff. See you guys.